to try to build a raised garden, and it should have 4 feet on each side for a total of 16 square feet and 8 inches of depth, with a sheet of plywood under the first layer. The second layer is for elevation. The third layer is elevation, and these 2x4s are just to give you something to nail to for the second and third layer. It takes a total of 4 2x8s and 4 1x8s, and one piece of plywood 4 feet by 4 feet. All of the cuts on the wood should be done at 45-degree angles. So you see that this piece is cut at a 45, and so is the other end, and it should be exactly 4 feet long. And with 4 of these, you can run screws through it and make a square, and then attach a sheet of plywood to it. That's our next step. All right, on this end we're going to put 2 screws divided roughly into thirds. And 2 on one end, 3 on the other. And that way when we put it together, we'll have 3 screws on one side and then 2 screws on the other side. So it'll be a total of 5 screws holding each corner together. our inside pieces need to be able to fit inside here. And 45 1/4 right there. $45 1/2. 45. And 45. So we're going to have our 4 pieces to go. On the inside of that will be 45 inches each one. So that means we need to cut 4 more squares. We finished the bed part of the raised garden. This is the bottom of the ground level. Since our next layer is going to be smaller, we want to come inside the thickness of our wood and put a line here all the way around so that the next square going on it will be 2 inches smaller. So we have drawn our line all the way around and we measure it end to end. Each of these pieces from here to here and from here to here, they're all 45 inches. So our step 3 will be to cut our 2x8s 45 inches long with 45-degree cuts on each side. So our top layer, we're building this upside down, is 48 inches by 48 inches square. Our second layer is 45 inches by 45 inches square. Our next layer will be 43 inches, and it will be made with 1x8s rather than 2x8s. The 1x8s give us a recess here, just like our 45 gives us a recess from the 48. So when we put these two together, 1x8s, we have 3 steps to our inverted pyramid, and that gives us an overall 15 inches of height. So that we have something to nail to, we need to put a 2x4 in each corner and secure it to our top layer, our second layer, so that we'll have something to nail to for the third layer. We're measuring 15 inches for our first 2x4. Measure both sides. Lay a straight edge there and draw our line. Then we'll measure another 15 inches and leave just a little margin because our blade has a width too of about 1/8 of an inch. And we'll mark that at 15 inches. And then our last 15 inches, we're not cutting 45-degree angles this time, we're cutting straight. So we set the saw back at 0 degrees and tighten it down. And we saw off our And you may notice that that wood cuts a lot easier than the other wood, and that's because it's dry. Everything else is pressure treated and it's still wet, so it's difficult to cut. These pieces have dried out for a while, although they are also pressure treated. So we'll take our 15-inch piece of 2x4 and we'll put one in each corner and put screws in them to hold those in place. So now, when you lay this across the end, the 45 should line up right there. So this gives us a 45 to work with here. So now that we know where this 45 is, for this piece and that piece, we'll put our next 45 right here. And then our next one right here. Okay, so let's do those cuts. Should be right at 43. Well, 43 and a half. It's close enough. Okay, so let's swap these around so I can cut them. Securing the top layer to layer 2. So you see where I'm putting my hole here will fasten that inside recess to the top by the plywood in the 4 corners. And what I'm doing is kind of measuring it with my eye to see how far in. But you can use this to see what the thickness should be, so that when you drill your holes, you want to hit that piece of wood that's under it, right in the middle.